In conversation, you can never really be sure that people are understanding what you're saying. I'd like to use the color example. If you say that this is purple, and you teach someone that this is purple, I think people just assume that everyone knows what the color purple looks like. So for one, there's a wide variety of shades of the color of purple. And then also, let's see that I see purple is red. And you're pointing to this object that is purple, and you're telling me this is purple. But you don't know that I see red. And so I agree with you. And now every time I see that color, I associate it with purple. Very seldomly will a person say, this is red. And I'll say, no, that's purple. So how are we sure that when we walk away from conversations that what you said was understood? Now, a way to mitigate this confusion or misunderstanding is to repeat back in your version of what the person said, the way you interpreted or understood what they communicated to you. But even still, there's a level of disconnect because we don't think by words. We think by images in our head. And so even still, when you explain a story to someone, the way that their brain processes and pulls things from their subconscious mind or compartmentalizes thoughts, what their images are reflecting to them are not the same images that reflect to you, because they haven't lived your experiences and you haven't lived theirs. And so when you come to people to try to communicate your feelings and your thoughts, you yourself have to be flexible and broad in understanding that you're communicating your thoughts to another person for your own mode of venting or your own mode of expression. You can't necessarily expect them to understand. You can't necessarily expect them to give you back the feedback that you want to hear. It's helpful when a friend knows you enough to know how to respond to you, whether they're telling you what you want to hear or they're telling you what they think is best for you to hear in that situation. But you yourself still have to have the capacity to filter their response and understand that they can only respond with their level of experience. All the more reason to give your worries and troubles to God, because God knows all your thoughts and worries, and you always have access to Him where you may not have access to your parents or your therapist or your friends. Okay? We trust in the Lord with all our heart, and we give Him our burdens.